Imagine a map, drawn over 600 years ago, that shows a world its creators shouldn't have known. A map that depicts the vast continent of Africa with stunning accuracy, decades before European explorers ever charted its distant shores. This isn't a fantasy, it's the true story of the Albertinus de Virga World Map, a historical enigma that continues to baffle historians and cartographers to this day. And the most tantalizing part, this priceless artifact has been missing for a century, stolen, and lost to time, leaving us with only a single photograph and a mountain of questions. Let's set the scene. The year is somewhere between 1411 and 1415. In Venice, a master cartographer named Albertinus de Virga puts the finishing touches on his magnificent creation. It's a large, circular world map, or mappamundi, drawn on a single piece of parchment measuring about 27 by 17 inches. It's rich with color and detail, showing the known world as understood by a well-informed European of the early 15th century. Europe is there, as is Asia, filled with familiar cities like Jerusalem, Alexandria, and Rome, mythical locations, like the Garden of Eden in the Far East and the legendary kingdom of Prester John, also dot the landscape, typical for maps of this era. But then, your eyes drift south, to Africa, and that's where the mystery truly begins. The shape of Africa on this map is astonishing. It's not the truncated, misshapen blob you see on most other European maps from this time. Instead, it shows the continent tapering to a point, with a distinct southern tip, and a clear waterway rounding it, connecting the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. It accurately depicts the Gulf of Guinea and the general curve of the western coast. This level of detail is simply mind-boggling for its time. Why? Because in 1415, European knowledge of Africa was incredibly limited. The great Portuguese age of discovery was just kicking off. In that very year, 1415, the Portuguese captured the city of Ceuta on the northernmost coast of Morocco. This was a major event, their first real foothold on the African continent. But their sailors hadn't ventured much further south. The formidable Cape Bajador, a treacherous point on the coast of modern-day Western Sahara, was considered the point of no return. Its violent winds and currents were thought to be unpassable, the edge of the navigable world. It wouldn't be until 1434, almost 20 years after de Virga drew his map, that a Portuguese explorer named Gil Eanes finally managed to sail past it. And as for the southern tip of Africa, that was a complete unknown. It would take another 70 years, until 1488, for Bartolomé Dias to be blown off course by a storm and inadvertently round the Cape of Good Hope, proving that the Indian Ocean was accessible from the Atlantic. Yet, here it is on de Virga's map, drawn with confidence decades before any known European had ever seen it. So, the billion-dollar question is, where did Albertinus de Virga get his information? How did a Venetian mapmaker sitting in his workshop know the shape of a continent that was, for all intents and purposes, a massive blank spot on the map for his contemporaries? This is where the theories start to get fascinating. One leading hypothesis points to the extensive trade networks of the medieval world. Venice was a bustling hub, a crossroads of commerce and information. Merchants and sailors from across the known world passed through its ports, bringing not just goods, but stories, knowledge, and charts. It's plausible that de Virga pieced together his map from accounts provided by Arab or Muslim traders. These merchants had well-established caravan routes that crisscrossed the Sahara and sailed down the eastern coast of Africa, trading for gold, salt, and ivory. They possessed a far more detailed understanding of the African interior and its coastlines than any European did at the time. Could de Virga have interviewed these traders, synthesizing their verbal descriptions and rough sketches into his groundbreaking map? It's a strong possibility. The map even includes Arabic names for certain places, lending weight to this idea. But there's another, even more intriguing theory, one that expands the story from a regional tale to a global epic. This theory involves the legendary treasure fleets of China's Ming dynasty, commanded by the great Admiral Zhang He. Between 1405 and 1433, Zhang He led 7 massive naval expeditions into the Indian Ocean. His fleets were colossal, with hundreds of ships, some of them treasure ships that were reportedly over 400 feet long, dwarfing the small caravels of the Portuguese. These expeditions traveled to Southeast Asia, India, the Persian Gulf, and crucially, down the eastern coast of Africa, reaching as far as modern-day Kenya and possibly even further south. The Chinese were skilled navigators and mapmakers. It's almost certain they created detailed charts of the coastlines they visited. So, the theory goes, what if one of Zhang He's fleets, or a part of it, continued its journey? What if they rounded the southern tip of Africa and made their way into the Atlantic? Or what if, at the very least, their maps and geographical knowledge made their way back to Europe? Perhaps a Chinese chart, passed along the Silk Road or through Indian Ocean trade routes, eventually landed in the hands of a Venetian cartographer like Albertinus de Virga. This would explain the uncanny accuracy of the African coastline. It's a bold theory, and one that many mainstream historians are skeptical of. But it's an exciting possibility that challenges our conventional understanding of world history and exploration. The map's own history adds another layer of drama to the story. For centuries, it was hidden away in a private collection. It only resurfaced in 1911 when it was discovered in a second-hand bookshop in Venice, Croatia, by a collector named Albertin. It caused an immediate sensation in the academic world. Here was a document that seemed to rewrite the history of exploration. It was studied, photographed, and analyzed by the leading geographers of the day. But its time in the spotlight was tragically short. In 1932, during an auction of Figter's estate in Vienna, the map was stolen. It vanished without a trace. All we have left is a single black and white photograph taken before its disappearance. That photograph is now our only window into this incredible artifact. The theft means we can no longer perform modern analysis on the parchment, the ink, or the pigments. We can't use carbon dating to confirm its age or chemical analysis to determine the origin of its materials. We are left to study a ghost, a photographic echo of a map that held secrets we are still trying to unlock. Was it an authentic 15th century masterpiece that held a key to a lost chapter of global exploration? Or was it something else? Without the original, we may never know for sure. The story of the Albertinus de Virga map is a powerful reminder that history is not always a straight line. It's a messy, complex web of connections, lost knowledge, and tantalizing mysteries. It challenges the Eurocentric narrative of the Age of Discovery, suggesting that the world was far more interconnected in the 15th century than we often imagine. Knowledge didn't just flow from Europe outwards. It was a complex exchange, with information traveling along ancient trade routes, carried by sailors and merchants of many different cultures. This single piece of parchment, now lost to the world, represents a profound puzzle. Was it the product of a Venetian genius compiling the whispers of Arab merchants? Or was it the distant echo of a mighty Chinese fleet charting unknown waters? Or perhaps the answer is something else entirely, a source of knowledge that we haven't even considered. The map's disappearance only deepens the enigma, turning it into a legend. It's a story of incredible foresight, a mysterious disappearance, and a fundamental question about who knew what, and when. It's a perfect historical whodunit, and the main piece of evidence is missing. What do you think? Where did the knowledge to draw this map come from? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into a historical mystery, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories that challenge what you think you know about the past. Thanks for watching.